we're back in time and eternity.
Yeah.
So yeah, now let's go to Kamsa, aka the only, again, just like in Fairfence Draft, the only one city in the entire world.
Yeah, to be fair, it's a small enough world, and here it makes sense that they focus on it.
I will give it this: there's more in this city than in Fairfence Draft Zelwyn's.
That helps too. That definitely helps. Like, okay, if you want to have one city,
not that it's anything, and by more I mean there's a shop. There's more places with generic NPCs to give you generic quests that don't have any kind of charm to it. So, but there's more.
It's literally just one city, like in the middle of nowhere.
So anyway,
you see, Theo, this is what happens when we don't have money. We can only afford one city. Sorry.
Okay. To be fair,
I can imagine a good, programmer can build up to the end and say it's literally the only habitable place in the world or some shit like that.
I mean, I've seen plenty of games that have been able to work with literally just one city in a sense here and there. Like, Shenmue technically takes place in one city, an incredibly interactive city.
True, but it talks about what happening in the rest of the world and stuff like that. You know that the world is bigger than just that. It's like those games that pretend only a couple of things exist in total, like Eternal Sonata.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Eternal Sonata takes place in a dream world, so I guess it has that excuse.
Not according to the ending, Pedro.
Alright.
But whatever.
Well, you don't have anything to worry about, Drake.
You're so sweet, Toki.
Alright.
Oh, I know. Why don't we take a bath?
Oh dear.
Great, we're starting already this.
Come again?
Maybe that'll help you relax a little.
That's right.
From the bath fix my lips syncing.
Oh my god. Like, could you try, game? And before anyone says it, as we've seen, even in the Japanese version, the lip syncing is terrible.
Anyway, I was trying to say before I was interrupted by Discord that, well, the Eternal Sonata takes place in a dream world.
Again, like I mentioned, until the very end,
True.
You're not German!
Dun dun dun.
Oh, and now allow me to completely screw up that point, by the way, because there's one of them who actually knows it.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Not bad, I guess. It's a bit more frugal.
So yeah, we're back 6 months in the
insanely
past, so they
wealthy
don't.
family
So this is the first time that they came to the house and all that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, and the little fairy's here too.
There's
Fairy?
definitely no fair.
That's foreshadowing for later too.
Yeah, believe it or not, there's actually things that I actually forgot about this fucking thing.
Talk to you about something.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's your brain repressing.
I suppose.
You can tell us
This music would be one of those things.
Unfortunately, that didn't happen.
if the topic is of sufficient class.
Maybe I've just trained myself to be musically numb so that this no longer tortures me anymore.
She said my wedding would be a
Well,
The tune by itself is not necessarily bad. It's just that again, this is.
I think it's more so just what the music.
The trumpet theme.
It reminds you, yeah. It's okay. Good news. This is where we get the most interaction with characters. Bad news. This is where we get the most interaction with certain characters. I'm looking at you, Rachel.
I'm pretty sure I've heard of them. Really? The Masters of Murder, the Assassin's Guild.
Great.
You seem to be very well knowledgeable about this.
How does bootleg Miku know that?
Because she's Hatsune Miku, she knows all.
She did a concert for them.
That definitely makes sense.
Here you can get in touch with them if you hang around the back.
Yeah.
Wow!
Okay, the console near the end of people getting killed, but that's another story.
What? No! It's way too dangerous. You need to stay as far away from there as possible. Is it really that bad?
I mean, I'm just a princess. What's the worst that could happen to me?
Assassins. You're just asking a question. Is it really that bad?
And hey, I'm just a princess. It's not like they may want to kidnap me or anything, hold me ransom or stuff.
You've only just started exploring the world. I can take you if you really want
These
to.
people are already pretty much candidates for the Dark Widow Awards.
I absolutely forbid
These
you
people
from
are
taking
nothing
Toki
but
somewhere
anime
like that.
stereotypes. That's literally what
You
these
have to
people
take
are.
me, Enda.
Toki is the
I have to see it
generic
with my
nice
own eyes.
girl.
No.
Rachel is the snooty rich girl. Weddy is
Mega Echo.
Yeah, okay.
Talk to the hand.
And no, folks, I'm not doing that counter again.
And Wendy is annoying, high-pitched girl.
Okay. To give credit to Wendy, as we've mentioned before, she's got, thankfully, a character outside of that.
She does, but that's the thing, Joe, but she's the only one.
Assassin encounter?
Ooh.
Well, remember, too, the ninjas that attacked us are actually an assassin's guild.
No, I know, it's just the way the quest is phrased.
Well, remember, too, apparently Assassin's Creed is actually really popular in Japan, so, yeah.
And yet we still have not gotten an Assassin's Creed game taking place in Japanese time.
Sorry, Jova, according to the marketing of Abstergo, it's not that popular with the kids.
Totally! Nothing ever interesting happens with assassins in Japan.
So, Toki, have you told your future husband what the psychic said to you?
Fuck off.
No, not that. That Burdock brain is out on an expedition right now.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Zack is basically captain of the Knights or whatever back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone and won't be back for a while.
That's right. I was on a trip right around this time.
Convenient.
Since I'm
How fucking
drained now,
convenient.
I wonder if there's
I guess this helps us avoid a time
This
paradox.
is actually a good question, but to be honest, I am okay with this, so the fact that the game actually has an actual reason to avoid this kind of time travel problem, so give credit where it's due.
another
Yeah.
week?
No, the time travel paradoxes are not this game's problems, surprisingly.
You'd think...
Well, okay. Yeah, I'll give it this. For a lot of time travel stories I've seen, this one actually does go out of its way to prevent certain time paradoxes. Like Drake...
The game, much like Fair and Seraph, Joe, but the time travel is only there as an excuse for certain things to happen. It's never the focus.
I'll argue that the time travel is a bit more in focus here, especially considering certain plot points later down the line. But like I said, one reason we will not be getting a time paradox is that Zack, I guess by will of the Time Force, infiltrates Drake. And thankfully he'll...
And like I said, that will never be explained.
Are we getting
Yes,
the Power Rangers? Are we getting the Power Rangers here?
Yeah,
now,
I'm
Joe,
sure they
because
were
you mentioned Time Force.
Yeah, I'm sure we were meant to be. Spoilers, when we do find out how they first met, it was so stupid and it
There's
just
a lot
doesn't make any
going
sense
on,
because
but
whatever.
with her by my
We'll see.
side, I can handle it. Even if I am a dragon.
Well, hey, it worked out for Tatsumi
I mean, the
from
game-
Akame ga Kill.
I mean, we're supposed to actually get the proper bonding between the our two lovebirds over the course of the story. It's just, again, it's badly written, so...
Talk to the hand.
Yeah.
And don't worry, folks, Enda's not the only character who does that a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, why does
it was totally worth filling this game with voice acting for the sake of having the same animation scene over and over and over.
Yeah, why does he do that anyway? That's really rude.
No thanks.
Wait, is that a British insult of some sort?
No, just shoving your hand in someone's face is a bit rude.
When two people are talking, at least in my country, that kind of gesture is basically one telling the other, "Shut up, I want to talk now."
I'm sure in some country that's just a show of affection.
It's not strictly offensive, but it's a bit rude.
Honestly, it comes across as just because remember she has her hand up now as well. I'm guessing that's just her how she is. She likes
It's like she thinks she's in school and she's putting her hand up to talk.
Oh, I know this one. Makimon is actually not a psychic. She's a Jill of all trades.
A Jill of all
This is
Jill.
foreshadowing.
It's a reference to Jack and Jill. When it's a boy, we say Jack of all trades. When it's a girl, we say Jill of all trades. It's a reference to the Jack and Jill.
Okay, I'll give Makamona credit. She seems like she's a certain anime arc, but she actually does have a surprisingly good deconstruction on it. Again, problem is, like Weddy, she is one of the few good things.
That's the thing, Jova. Reijo's quote-unquote tragic backstory is only told to us via expositional dialogue. We're not actually ever see any. We never even see her.
Well, I was
we
talking
didn't
about
see that
Makamona, not Reijo.
Oh, Makamona. Well, Makamona doesn't even have any kind of backstory.
She's just
a frustrated, lonely person. That's all
she has
is.
that thing that we learn about her later.
What's
Eh.
wrong, Drake?
The bath.
Oh yeah, and for some reason everybody in this game is obsessed with taking baths.
Oh yeah, it's not just
Hygiene.
Drake. It's
Remind me
us.
again, what's the
Don't get me wrong, hygiene is important, but that doesn't
What's
mean
the
you
name of
take
it?
baths every 10 minutes.
What's the name of the city, Pedro?
Shall we then?
I
forgot.
Kamsa.
I know
Kamsa.
Kamsa.
up. So I guess Corona-chan is arrived here too.
Damn it.
Damn.
Gonna take a bath with Drake? I wanna come too.
Yay, we get to see
What?
we get to see all.
Please do not
Get your
have
own
the...
bath.
Yeah, do not have the lolly
Okay.
take a bath, please.
Hey, no
Okay. Do girls just love taking baths with dragons in this universe?
Everybody in this
It's their bucket list.
everybody in this game has serious mental problems.
Well, okay, no. To be fair, taking a bath is a hobby that I've heard of, but for so many people to have it, that's weird.
I mean, if they had a spring fountain, I could understand.
Yeah,
but-
like the what's it called? Sauna, I think they're called. Like this
And
week.
now, okay, so because Toki doesn't say, I don't feel like it anymore, and then suddenly everybody backs out as well.
Bipolar much?
No, the game there goes T. It's for basically this is part of a subplot of Drake wanting to see some boobs. So
I mean,
But,
he'll
you know,
get to see those
how
later
charming
after
of you,
he's
game.
married. He'll get to see those later after he's married anyway.
Never
Yeah, that's-
underestimate the mind of a pervert, Jova.
yeah.
True. Anyway, let's get going. Also,
Got all about in the artwork, Drake looks completely different.
I
by the
know,
way.
I was about to say, he looks better in the artwork.
Bed for now.
That's because
It
the
reminds me of
the
the-
concept
it-
artist is probably much better artist.
Yeah,
than
it reminds me so much of Time Fantasy Tactics Advance 2, where the official artwork by Hiko Yoshida are amazing, but the actual in-game portrait, when you get through the dialogue, are much less much less good quality for some reason.
It's just generic anime art style in the game itself.
I mean, okay, when it's still, a lot of the stuff can look good, but in motion, it looks
I
crappy.
mean, in the years we got an anime that was. Oh, hold on.
Hey, you! Have you seen anyone from the Assassin's Guild around here?
That's not something you ask, really.
Your voice.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't wanna start in trouble with those folks.
Oh, sorry about that.
I mean, how do you know he's not
Brave.
one of them?
Earlier, but you should really stay away from them.
I can imagine how that conversation would go.
By the way, I'm hoping.
Excuse me.
You doing the
let's go.
assassins?
Yes,
Keep your
me.
guard up. We have to be
You know, something like that can happen in Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, 1 minute they're trying to sell you bananas, the other we're trying to kill you.
Gotta love how absolutely generic and devoid of life the city is.
So one of the banana peels has a knife in it instead
Oh
of...
boy,
Yes.
here we go.
Oh boy, here we go. Yes, we're about to meet Shiro, the Team Rocket of this game, except nowhere near as charming.
Not as fun.
I forgot there was actually one.
Hey, do you feel that?
Linus and
There's
Hey, get it?
there's
Linus
the
and...
City
Linus and
3000.
Lucy, ha 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 ha.
Cute.
There's the
People staring
there's
at
the,
us right
there's
It's
the
typical-
SimCity there's the SimCity 3000 music again.
This is typical NAS America pop culture references for no reason.
You two, are you?
I mean, I don't mind them being called Linus and Lucy, it's just, what a reference to make, if that is a reference.
I guess it's because in the Japanese version their name was also a pun of the same similarity. We just changed it in American for it.
Probably.
Okay, if you're the real deal, then tell me about the attack you're planning on my wedding.
Oh, attack the wedding, that sounds like a great idea, let's attack the wedding.
So are these characters actually going to move?
Yeah,
Instead of
even their
blinking?
faces were not aside from
Sorry,
blinking.
we're stuck here.
The girl was blinking. There's your animation.
Also, I'm sorry, I don't get this. She has a sarashi, which is basically bandages that are supposed to, in a case of a woman, cover your chest in order to make clothes fit better. But it barely squeezes actually her chest.
Oh, and by the way, the characters talk during these battles, and the sound mixing is so bad, it's so hard to understand what they're saying.
And I can see the attack names cover the subs a couple of times.
Linus, it's up to you.
White on white. How clever.
You better start running.
Same goes
Maybe put the subtitles up, or move the attack names
Or
up.
put more of a black
And now you know why.
outline.
And now you know why Shiro isn't voicing any of these people.
Yeah, because the text sucks.
It does.
And as you say, Pedro, if the game doesn't care, why should I?
Exactly. There you go, Shiro. You're learning.
Yay!
Okay,
Have a
guys.
cookie.
I like learning.
Okay, fans of Dragon Ball, get ready to be pleased.
No, Jova, don't you even dare compare this to launch.
How did you know I was going to? But
Well,
you'll see.
Jova, Toriyama himself who doesn't remember about lunch, so why should you?
Ouch, that's a good point. That's a damn good point. Ooh, well, porn music all of a sudden.
The 70s.
And all of a sudden now now you're voiced by Christina V. Okay. Hey, honey, we're over. Turning back to the wall, like there. We're over here.
What is all this ruckus?
So there you go. So is the badass. And now we meet their boss, Ricardo.
This lady's being super mean to us.
Why is she turning away from him?
Because she's looking at
Talk to
Tawa,
my-
I guess.
Talk, I turned my
Will
back
the
on
talk
you.
of their ire, my little mamacita?
Oh, shit. Let me check if the Ricardo's voice actor is credited or not.
May I have the pleasure of your name?
No, you may not. Eh.
AKA Princess Peach on steroids, I guess.
Yes. Oh, there you go. Kevin Delaney.
I'm sorry. It's just with the way.
Why
his
have I heard
mouth
that name
moves.
before?
The way his mouth moves, even though no sounds coming out of it, makes me think these characters are like bloody fish. The ones that keep opening and closing their mouths randomly. So.
All right. This will be the last. Well, actually, no, I forgot. I'm gonna. Yeah, because we can't fight Ricardo's straight. We have to fight these two again for some reason.
Well, it does give us an excuse
I
to
do
hear
like-
Tawa's battle
I do-
theme, which I'll admit does sound pretty neat.
That's my Towa's battle theme is my favorite theme in the game. Actually, I really like Towa's battle theme.
My favorite is still the boss theme, but yeah, Tawa's theme is a close second.
Again, the soundtrack is the only competent thing in this game. It's not great. It's not even that good. But at the very least, you can tell Yuzo Fisher was actually trying to, at the very least, make something that's at the very least acceptable.
Yeah. How the hell did he go? How the hell did he end up making a soundtrack for these kinds of games?
Honest, I guess he's just that desperate for work. Good.
Yeah.
Industry can be cruel.
Anyway, check Kevin Delaney as a voice actor doesn't even. There's a couple of things on his resume, but it's mostly like additional voices, also minor characters.
Oh, and by the way, even though Towa is supposed to be the complete opposite personality of Toki, she still reuses a lot of the same animations as Toki. So
Yeah, I can see that.
we don't have we don't have money to make Toki for her own animations. Sorry.
Does she use the knife that she shows in the cutscene? Oh, there you go.
Toki uses that too.
Okay, question. Does Tawa have benefits with using the knife, since it seems to
Like,
suggest
she
that
doesn't even have different stats.
No, it's the same stats for both girls.
Oh well.
I guess since they share the same body and
Well,
since
it's the same body too, so it does make sense from a story point actually.
We're all out of options.
Boss is all that's left.
Why do these characters constantly throw their hands up in the air for no reason?
With a plan to attack the royal wedding.
How could you? How did
All
you
right.
know?
So, from what I'm reading here on Wikipedia, Time and Eternity was met with negative reception by critics and maintains a 42 out of 100 average on Metacritic.
Gee,
Elliot Gay, associate editor of Japanimator, gave the game a very negative review, heavily criticizing the characters, animation, plot, and gameplay. IGN gave it a 5.6, praising its unique combat system and character progression, but criticizing its dating simulator elements, technical issues, and repetition. Funnily enough, I actually remember this game being on game shelves around the time it was released. I didn't buy it. But
well, remember this. Namco Bandai was trying to push this as a new big thing.
Yeah. Again, they've marketed a lot to this thing.
how did it sell?
it sold like garbage, obviously.
I mean, yeah.
This game didn't even make it as a Steam release. The Tangled video game got a Steam release.
Hell, this game actually caused the shutdown of the studio that made it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I see that Ricardo is quite the Final Fantasy VII fan. He can perform Blade Beam with his obvious Buster Sword knockoff. Also, in battle,
the thing about Ricardo's boss battle, allow me. Ricardo's boss battle is bullshit. You're not actually supposed to beat him properly. You're just supposed to wait until the game tells you can beat him. Just
come again, say what now?
So I guess we need to wait to exhaust the dialogues.
Not just that, Terry. You'll see.
Well, give the guy credit, he can fight, which is pretty surprising considering what we find out later.
According to BG charts, at least, it sold like 0.17.
Oh, that's down to the
170,000.
100,000.
This game is a piece of garbage. It doesn't work like that. Like even if it did get marketing, the marketing, even people who saw the trailer could tell that this wasn't looking very good.
Let me put it like this: it was a game that its biggest selling point was, hey, it's completely hand-drawn animated, but people didn't really get to see it that much.
Suckle prompt. One hit kill. There you go.
Huh?
Good job, game. Good
Did
job.
he just do the finger poke of doom?
Don't you just love to win a game waster?
I mean,
I do
don't.
wonder if it was like a bar, but I didn't see it filling up.
I mean,
No,
it's.
there wasn't.
I mean, it's funny, yeah, the first time, but how weird.
I am afraid I know nothing.
What?
It's quite odd, don't you think? That the leader of a group prepared to attack the royal wedding would be defeated so
Easily, you put up a pretty good fight, dude. Gameplay story segregation.
So what are you
For the
trying to say?
win.
We are not of the Assassin's Guild.
Turns out they're not the Assassin's Guild. Hold on.
I'll talk to
Oh,
him.
man.
In actuality, no more than members of the Assassin's Guild.
You know, it's kind of embarrassing considering how he puts up our.
It's funny because they're the wrong people we're looking for.
And eliminate their prey.
Oh, God.
Such.
Why are we hearing this again?
Because it's funny, Shiroi. Laugh.
We just wanted to do something half as
Yuzo,
cool as that.
buddy, I love you, but sometimes you need to put order in your mind in composing stuff.
Well, this game had another composer as well. So.
Let me. I actually have the soundtrack with me right here, so let me check who composed what.
Yeah, just an unrelated.
You know, it's kind of ironic considering how Ricardo puts arguably up a better fight than the actual.
Ready to say adios
By the way, you
to
know
my
how this
life.
game is called Time and Eternity in the West? In Japan, it's just called
Toki Toto, yeah, I mentioned
Toki,
it.
Yeah.
Toki and Toa.
I had to. I had no choice if I wanted to look. like
Lucy and Lee Lionel's English voice actors are not credited because I seem to recognize Lucy's voice actress, but can't seem to find who she is. Oh well.
See?
This track, the trumpet theme, was composed by Yuzo Koshiro-san. What happened?
I mean, okay, look, the theme itself isn't terribly bad. Like, you know, as far as you know, like ones that are intentionally made to sound lousy, it gets its job done. The problem is how it's used ad nauseum.
Also, I keep
speaking of being
stating my
used at-
theory that the voice actors actually did not see the animations they were supposed to voice because there's a lot of unfitting tone.
Oh, by the way, speaking of being used ad nauseum, get used to some of these sprite jokes.
Yeah, Yanagawa. Basically, Yanagawa only composed
Talk to the hand.
three level themes, and the level themes in this game are very memorable. And the end credit song. The rest was all by Yuzo Koshiro. So Koshiro did also compose the best ones. So there's that, I guess.
If you're making all this up, you know what's gonna happen, right?
Come now.
So was Toa now doing the talk to the hand thing?
No.
So basically, fortunately, they have information that would be useful to us, it seems. So yeah, this was all just a waste of my time, kind of, but whatever.
Well, we got
they have
information out of them.
So
I
Yeah.
guess. But did we really need to go through this terrible comedic routine?
Honestly, it served its purpose. We got the information. There have been much worse cases of
and now he
wasting
just
our
sexually
time.
assaulted Toa, so that's nice.
is that like sniffing?
No, he kissed her in the cheek. Yeah, it's so cool how he forced himself onto her, isn't it? It's so cool. Oh, game, you're so disgusting.
That's because you have to wait several months. Shut up.
Totally.
You were the assassin.
Stop using those animations. They're not good.
We have a limited budget, damn it.
Okay, that's it.
Oh,
The budget was that limited. Why even go for that animation in the first
that's
place?
right. Drake bites his head enough to draw blood. I hope you like that joke,
Again,
folks.
seriously, that's not the tone you're supposed to use. You're supposed to sound more desperate.
Sorry, sorry, Teo. The voice actor just could not give any shits.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to
I
side
need
with
to
you.
check. Was there a voice director for this?
I think I'm gonna have to side with Tio on this. The voice actors definitely sound like they're giving it their all. It sounds like they may have been horribly misdirected, or they didn't have something showing them what they were supposed to act to.
The closest I'm finding is Ben Harrington, who is credited as dialogue editor and recording engineer, so I guess he's... But the problem is that he's been the sound department of a couple of other more important things, like Kingsglaive or Ace Combat 7. Those products do have competent voice actors and tone according to what's going on screen. So what happened here?
I do not know, Teo.
So yes, who is this mysterious Toa who shares the same body as Toki and totally doesn't change bodies by sneezing? Although, to be fair, like Tio said, even Toriyama forgot launch.
Alright.
She was supposed to be Tenshinhan's love interest, and damn it.
Serious, I don't know,
Tenshinhan wasn't ever interested.
I don't know what's worse, Toriyama forgetting launch or Toriyama not thinking that Cell should have been on the Tournament of Power roster instead of Frieza.
Well, actually, Jova, that wasn't Toriyama's decision. Toriyama only came up with the idea for the Tournament of Power. He didn't actually
all the
write
same.
anything into this. See, this is the misconception people have. Like for Dragon Ball Super, except for the Broly movie, of course, Toriyama only came up with basic idea concepts. AKA, he came up with the idea for the Black Goku thing. He came up with the idea for the Tournament of Power. Which, again, they're not necessarily bad ideas. It's just that the execution from part of the writing team was complete garbage. But that's a topic for another day.
Regardless,
Anyway,
I maintain, though.
Anyway, I put it up my 100% super duper save file where I have the best equipment. Notice too? The best equipment. Sword of Eternity, Gun of Eternity, Jet of Eternity, Choker of Eternity, Ring of Eternity, and Bell of Eternity. Ha.
Sure.
And
Is there a sword of... What about a Sword of Time, though?
I was checking the Amazon for this game, and it's still 32 quid from there.
Basically, everybody's at level 200, so basically we're gonna plot for the rest of this thing because the gameplay is not exactly all that interesting.
Also, Jova, I hate someone trying to buy the American version now. The American one costs £149.
Seriously? I mean, I recall...
Remember, Jova, this game is now 7 years old, and it was only released on the PS3, and most likely will not be released, so yeah, this thing is basically a collector's item.
It's weird, though, because, I remember when we commented on this first, it was a lot easier to get it. Has it really been that long?
How many years ago was it?
5 years.
Jesus Christ, it's been 5 years since we commented on this game last time.
Well, mind, you could just buy a second-hand copy from Kex for only £12.
That's much more affordable for me.
I mean, like I said, this is a game I'm tempted to buy because it is so bafflingly
I still too
stupid.
that my idea of doing that.
Do you even have a PS3, Jova?
That is the one thing keeping me from doing it.
Well, I don't have one either, so...
Okay, again, and something I can point out... Something pointing out towards the character design. I get that the Miku Otsune, this inspired design for Enna, but her pigtails, which are supposed to be like pigtails, look like tubes for some reason. Like, when you think of Miku, her hair look more like strings, but in case of Enna, they literally look like tubes.
Well, that's just typical modern anime designs, Teo. Completely realistic body proportions or hair proportions, whatever. Like, anime designers today don't seem to know how human anatomy works.
Hair designing is not really human anatomy, but whatever.
Well, Teo, think of current day anime designers as the Japanese equivalent of 90s comic book character designers.
I argue that in universe, look at the other characters, their hair are much more, in tune. It's just Edna that sticks out like that.
Okay, I'll admit, it was a bit of a nice touch not having Reijo change facial animation because she already knows about Toa, so it makes sense she wouldn't be shocked.
True, but this is still crap.
I know, just credit where credit is due, and by God, this game needs all it can get.
Without all this? Although I'm simply a member of the wealthy elite, she and I have been friends since childhood.
Of course.
Then,
By all
Toa would
means,
just
tell me
suddenly pop out of
about this.
nowhere
Don't actually
sometimes.
show a flashback or something.
Pedro,
That-
we only
that
have
might-
so
that
much
might actually
money.
flesh out the characters and give it more emotional resonance. Right?
Honestly, you could even do that as a joke, like you're showcasing, like in the style of crayons, you know, like stick figures done with crayons representing the flashback itself. You
True.
cut corners on the animation, and you have a funny joke.
So, why
Sorry, Teo, that would require wit on our part. We don't have
Okay, I've gone on and on about how this game did have a budgeted release, but I really do have to wonder how limited the budget was. Like, I get that hand-drawn animation takes a lot, but they can't even include more still images for certain stuff.
Can tell you, Jova, that for at least, well, no, okay, that's more for the West, but experience tells me that Bandai Namco doesn't give that much of a budget to its developers to do stuff.
You know, Image Epoch, why did you even choose to make this a comedic RPG? That's not at all what you specialize in anyway. Didn't you just make this a more straightforward story? Why? I mean, don't get me wrong. The comedy in Image Epoch's previous games is fine. It's just that, like, I guess just making a full-blown comedy where a JRPG is mostly fueled by the comedy just doesn't work for them.
Okay,
She pulled my balls in a freaking vice? What?
Oh,
basically,
that's saying-
he's making a woman wears the pants in the relationship joke.
No, I know,
Like
it was just...
a ball and chain joke, because those are never
okay.
old. You
also,
know?
okay, to be fair, for as much comedy as there is, Pedro, we have to remember this one actually is not strictly a comedy in the sense where it does have its moments that we're supposed to take seriously. Granted, it just fails to get us to take it seriously.
It's as much as a comedy Jova as Konosuba or the anime in that kind of sense.
Well, but that's the
Well,
thing, Joe.
I'd say
Like, comedy is
Konosuba is
something like-
definitely a lot more witty with its comedy, and like,
Well,
well,
Joe, here's the thing. The comedy in Arc West Fantasia is the typical comedy you'd see in a typical traditional JRPG. Character-driven comedy, like based on, character-driven humor, like where a character might make fun of a certain thing, like a character being a bit too antsy or something. This goes for full out, like pervert jokes and what the hell is going on?
well, Pedro, I hate to say it, but it's a Japanese game. You'd be surprised how many have a lot of these kinds of unfunny jokes while having a plot that we're supposed to take seriously.
But Image
still.
Epoch is so much better than this.
Well, Pedro, Image Epoch fell, just like so many companies tragically fall.
Actually, do wonder if there was like a
Telltale,
change.
the Zucchero Isle.
Oh yeah, that's
It's called
right. This game.
Zucchero. You
Oh
fucking-
yeah.
No, it's not you, Pedro, but in general, the English people tend to put accents on the wrong syllable for foreign words.
We're sorry.
Basically, folks,
You're
this
not.
game has a lot of food
Yes,
puns.
we are.
But still, no. But I actually do wonder if there was like a situation akin to, say, the Super Mario Bros. Movie where the game was supposed to go in a direction, but mean development it changed some people, and they say, no, let's do things another way, making it more lighthearted.
Anyway, to recap things, basically they explained that Toa has always been around ever since they were kids. However, Toa has remained basically mostly in the background because and Toki has pretty much almost all the time been there, even though they talk to each other internally.
Yes, it turns out our Toa has a mysterious
So you're probably
backstory.
So you're probably wondering, what caused Toa to now suddenly show up out of nowhere? Well, the game, even Toa herself says, and I quote, "I'm not entirely sure." So, and that will
So
never be explained.
she's not British.
Never.
No, Shiroi, you see, Shiroi, this is what we usually like to call cop-out writing, in the sense that the game poses the script poses a question, and then kind of hints that there's going to be an answer later, and then it just hopes you forget that question was ever asked.
Oh, so you mean like, how are you
Stephen
alive?
Moffat, Doctor Who?
I have no idea.
and Terminator Genesis.
Yeah,
But yeah, in the next part, everybody, we try to go to that isle. So, see, the thing is, too, that word doesn't exist in my language either, so I don't really know how to pronounce.
Zucchero.
I can't pronounce a word if it doesn't
The
exist in
accent,
my
is
language.
the accent, it's only you.
Sure.
Anyways,
Um,
yeah.
See ya.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Ta-ta.